Good morning. Welcome to News Center's Political Brew, and a little temporary set here for us. Not quite as cozy as we're used to on Sunday morning, but we will make do. Here with John Richardson and Phil Harriman. Things are happening fast and furiously in the nation's capital. Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi says the House will proceed with impeachment articles against President Trump. The House Intelligence Committee report accused Trump of misconduct and obstruction and using the power of the presidency to pressure a foreign leader into carrying out a scheme to benefit him personally. Phil, let me ask you, how compelling is the case that's being made so far?
Well, that remains to be seen, and I frankly agree with President Trump that this ought to go to a trial in the Senate so that we've got testimony, witnesses, corroboration, facts, and so forth to make a decision, because I think the House, while they've been passionate about claiming he bribed or he corrupted or he traded for political benefit, they've politicized it so much, Pat, that I don't think the public has seen the distinction yet.
John?
I think it's compelling, as you said. It's real. It's serious. These charges are. Unfortunately, it's not yet bipartisan. I think that's the missing ingredient, and I think that as we see, this is an inquiry about putting articles of impeachment together. I think you're going to see a bipartisan end result when it goes to the Senate.
Now, many Republicans in Washington are still raising the specter of Ukraine meddling in the 2016 U.S. elections instead of Russia, but Susan Collins and Angus King, both members of the Senate Intelligence Committee, are pushing back on this. King, for example, says in dozens of hearings and briefings he's never heard anything about any engagement by Ukraine. Senator Collins says it was Russia which ran the sophisticated social media campaign to increase polarization and to influence the elections. So, John, why are some on Capitol Hill still trying to make this argument?
Well, these are Russian talking points. I mean, as they would say in Louisiana, that dog don't hunt. And I think in this case, Senator Kennedy from Louisiana has to really take a gut check, because he is saying things that I think are a disservice to our intelligence agencies and to the American people by misleading them. The fact is that everyone, all of our agencies, and that is all of our intelligence agencies, have all said this is Russian interference. We don't see evidence of Ukraine.
Phil?
I don't think you need any clearer evidence than Senator King and Senator Collins, who are literally in the rooms that we're not in. I believe every word they've had to say, and if the politicians are trying to confuse or create complexity, that's going to come out again in the impeachment trial that's likely to be in the Senate.
All right, closer to home, marijuana retail sales are closer to coming online, but businesses must still deal in cash because of the federal laws against marijuana use and sales. Phil, do you think there's a state solution here, or do we have to wait for the feds to sort this out?
Well, I think it's a little bit of both. My understanding is that there are some banks in Maine that are allowed, because they're state chartered or they're credit unions, to work with these businesses, but I don't think there's enough capacity for the market that is out there, which means the politicians, the senators and the representatives have got to introduce a law to either make marijuana legal or not, because the regulatory process in Washington says this is illegal, we can't allow you to work with it.
And the banks can't touch it.
Right, and the federal regulators have said that hemp is appropriate and can be used, and they can use the banking systems for that purpose. Unfortunately, not for marijuana, and I think it's about the federal government and its elected officials need to get up now that the mood of the country is in favor of marijuana for at least medicinal purposes. Get up and make something happen in Congress that would allow this to be and be permitted as a legal transaction.
All right, we've got a lot more to talk about this morning on Political Brew. We'll do that in the next hour. News Center Maine is back after this.